Hi guys, time for another rubber band powered car. Right, let's just move all that out the way. And the basis for this rubber band powered car is a couple of cardboard boxes. Filament, 3D printer filament boxes. I'm using them because I've got them. I bought a load of this Solyin filament and I'm not getting on very well with it, to put it politely. It's causing me lots of trouble. I thought I'd try and make something useful out of the boxes just to get something out of the bargain. So I've glued two of them together, end to end, to give us a bit of length. I've got some knitting needles here, 8mm. Don't know if that, yeah, that's gone into focus. That's handy. Because if I drill holes through the box, either end for the axles to go through, anything thinner than this sort of thing will bend significantly in the middle. When you put the tension of the rubber band on them, they'll actually bend in. So I thought I'd go thick so they won't bend easily. So yeah, as you can probably guess, I'll drill holes in either end for the axles to go through. And there happens to be a bit of a hole there, so we can cut a gap up there so we can reach inside and wrap the rubber band round the axle. And then for wheels, as you probably will have noticed, I've got some old vinyl singles. Now, they come with these in the middle, and some people take them out depending on what sort of record player they have, and some people leave them in. I've only had record players that use the central pinhole there, or whatever you want to call it. But a lot of the commercial record players that you used to get in the cafe years ago had the bigger hole, and then they would automatically swap records quite easily because they had a big hole to line up with. Anyway, the small original holes are too small for these needles to go through. When I've used these in the past, I've used even thinner axles, 3mm, and 3D printed a nice adapter that goes through and lines up with the original slots. But we're not going to be doing that because we're going to be using these. So all I'm going to do is cut some bits of cardboard, glue them on the outside here, and then push holes through the cardboard. We could carefully cut circles and line them up with there, or we could just cut squares. It really won't matter because all you're interested in is the hole in the middle. So I will get on and do that before anybody gets really upset that I'm using old records that could be classics. These are really scratched and filthy. So I don't think we're going to be losing anything significant. On the Front Porch by Burl Ives, that one. Ugly Bug Ball, I remember Ugly Bug Ball. Made in Great Britain. Send Me the Pillow You Dream On, Johnny Tillotson. Oh. What'll I Do? That sounds familiar. What'll I Do? I think I might remember that one. I bought these in a charity shop ages ago for making wheels with. The Rose by Tom Jones, 1965. What's New Pussycat? I remember that one. Tom Jones, 1965. You and I, Ken Dodd, 1965. Tears, Ken Dodd, yeah, I remember that one, 1965. The Upper Room, Hank Lachlan. Nope, that one doesn't ring a bell. 1967. It Is Love, Hank Lachlan, 1967. What was the dates on those first ones? First published 1963. First published 1962. That doesn't mean that's when those were actually pressed. Anyway, all of that's irrelevant. I'm just going to use them for wheels. I'll stick some cardboard on them, poke some holes through, and we'll have a go. Having said I could just cut squares of cardboard to go there, it occurs to me that if I use a compass and do actually mark them out the right size, we'll know where the centre is, because the centre of the circle will have a hole in it. So that's what I'll do. I will draw out some circles and glue them on. I won't bore you by showing you me cutting these out. I'll just cut them out with scissors and then we'll glue them in place. We have a pile of them. I'll just leave them for the glue to dry properly. I've used super glue, so it's only a matter of minutes or seconds. What we'll do now is mark this up to drill the holes through it. Ideally, we would like the axles to be parallel front to back. So I've punched a couple of holes in this bit of cardboard, which happens to have knitting needles on it. So that should make them fairly parallel. It's not going to be perfect. My cars never go perfectly straight, but I think that'll be good enough. So I'll punch some holes through. Probably have to do this in 2 goes. A smaller hole first. And then make it bigger. Okay, I'll widen them up. While we're at it, might as well cut this. My plan is the rubber band will come over the top and then down into there, because the axle will be there and we want to wrap the rubber band around it. I'll just say pushing the needle through and doing that isn't enough. You need a bigger gap, or that will be fairly tight in there. You need it to be a free, loose running, loose fit. And I will also put super glue around that hole to stiffen it up. So I will make it bigger than it is now, because that's gripping the needle. We want it to fall through, and I'll put super glue on it. Show you what I've done. I've opened the holes out with my scissors, then super glue, and then stick this back in there. Oh, wind it around, and that's now a loose fit in there, and that'll be rock hard. I'll do the same on that one. Right, wheels. There's very little chance you'll get them perfect, although you can give them a bit of adjustment, and you can glue them in place when you've finished. Just open that hole out a little bit first. Make sure you've got a bit of a gap there. That looks pretty good. I'll do the same at the front and we'll give it a go. Oh, I made an extra little hole just there so we can poke a rubber band through there, out the bottom, and then pull it over the top to get to the back axle. All up together, rubber band through the hole and loop through itself. Right, down the back, over the axle, turn it round till it goes over itself, and then it'll hold itself in place. And we can wind it up. Well, that works. I'll put the camera there, see if we can hit the camera. That one works fine. I like that because that's real scrap materials. Old vinyl singles, cardboard box, scrap cardboard, and knitting needles. I suppose knitting needles are not scrap. They were £1 in Poundland. And rubber bands, of course. And super glue to glue it all together. Other glues will work, they just take a bit longer.